They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Outlet Pass Podcast, episode 13. I am your resident JT McConnell, the homie's homie. More importantly, my real name, Justin DiVirgilio in South Philly. Recording with me is day one friend of the show and supporter, guest host this week, John Torres. How you feeling, John?
What's up, Josh? Excited to be on the show this week. Listen to every episode. You show up to my boys. I'm sure people who are listening know, like, Dante's my lifelong best friend. You as well. Been on your brother as well. It's a family show. So excited to be out here helping everybody out.
Yeah, we had to call on one of the boys this time to get some help because Dante has more important things to do than the podcast this week.
Yeah, it's a senior year. Got to live it up. Spring break. Puerto Rico's a great place. I'm Puerto Rican, so I can speak to that. Got to do what I can for him.
Yeah, I'm jealous, and I got to stay down here and hold down the podcast, hold down the fort.
No, I know what you mean. I wouldn't mind being there with him, honestly, but
yeah, because then we could do an on-site Puerto Rican podcast. That would be sick.
Wow, that'd be a big level up for sure.
I guess we'll just get right into it because, like, what else is there to talk about? Because we're here to talk ball, I guess. Yeah.
It's the final stretch of the season, last 15 games.
Yeah, it's coming down quick. I feel like even though I've chronicled this whole season pretty much like with the podcast, it feels like it's some spurts of the season took long, and now it's gonna race to an end.
Yeah, I think the big thing that kind of happens is the All-Star break is like that big mile marker in the season, and I think across sports, like you say, the All-Star break is halfway during the season, but it's always like a little bit further in. So you're like, all right, All-Star break, now it's about to get serious, but it's like, well, it's more like the last third of the season after that almost, it feels.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. But let's talk about Russell Westbrook and his odd relationship with fans, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's definitely one of them dudes who, he has no problems telling fans that they ain't doing the right thing, no problem telling the media they ain't doing the right thing. So I know he had that little spat with I wouldn't call it spat, the situation with the kid on the sideline and touched him.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I felt like he handled that well.
Well, yeah, he handled it because the game was still going on. Yeah.
I mean, but I just think, you're playing a game and next thing you know, something's touching you, your reaction might be, I don't know, a swing or what's going on. But I thought he handled it well. I thought he handled it maturely. I actually like that. He said, when the kid sat down, he said something to the dad, you got to watch out. Your kid can't be doing that. Because I think that is the more important thing there. Instead of patting the kid on the head saying, it's okay, buddy. No, that's a dangerous situation for the players and also to put the kid in. So I felt like he handled it well there.
Yeah, I would agree. I love how Russ did that, and the dad wasn't reacting at all. He was still sitting courtside. Who knows if he pays for the tickets or he got them, somebody gave them to him or something like that. It was probably the kid's first time courtside. So
yeah, I mean, the kid's living a good life if it wasn't.
Yeah, and he doesn't know any better, or thinks he could get away with that. It was just a love tap, but you can't be just touching random people. So I agree with Russ. But in some of the quotes I read, it sounds a little more over exaggerated when he says protect ourselves. Nobody's really tried to do anything. The last time a fan tried anything was the infamous Malice at the Palace. I think he wants to prevent that.
I guess, yeah. Well, in terms of it turning physical, yeah, true. So I definitely agree with that. But I mean, you get a ton of. Just because NBA fans are able to sit closer to the playing field more than any other sport. Like, I feel like just in general, like you see all the time, like NBA players, like responding back to fans. And I think in general that stuff does get out of hand. Like fans do think that they can say whatever they want to these players and it doesn't matter. But no, I mean, I see what you mean. No, I mean, the kid didn't, well, I don't know. Like you could say like it's a little kid, like what's he going to do? But it's a little kid that maybe stepped out a few more feet and Russell's running down the court, might tripped over the kid, tore an ACL. The kid would have got a concussion, it would have been a whole thing. I mean, I see it from both sides, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't be having that with, you can't have a lawsuit on their hand, anybody getting hurt. And it's interesting that maybe it's Denver's fans, man. Because last February, some dude got onto the court, which is not supposed to happen. I know from experience and working in a place like that, that's not supposed to happen. And he got in Russ's face. And then Russ, in turn, shoved him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and it's just unnecessary. Like, I mean, like the NBA cares a lot about the fans, like wants a ton of fan engagement, but the line can't be crossed like that. You can't have that. It's bad for the game, and then then it makes the players look villainous when they come out and they speak about how wrong that is. Honestly, like I feel like there should be more speaking out from like the NBA executives when that kind of stuff happens. And even in the thing with Russ, like I think there should be some kind of reminder, like like watch out for your kids on the sideline, and because it is dangerous.
Yeah, I haven't seen any type of response or statement by Adam Silver or anybody, so maybe they believe it's not that big a deal to address publicly and they handle it internally. Well,
maybe.
These are just little spats that they don't happen that often. The good part is that none of this stuff happens at playoff games, which is most important.
Well, yeah, but the potential is there.
Oh, for sure. But playoff games, they usually beef up the awareness and to keep the fans controlled and keep it focused on what happens on the court.
Yeah, that's true, as they should.
And yeah, you're right, as they should. And let's just move on to a team that needs to focus more on the court, and they have recently. But we're going to chronicle from when they played bad to when they're playing kind of good. Is that the Celtics, right?
Ooh, yeah.
The Celtics.
Yeah, shout out all the Boston listeners. Dante recruited. Yeah,
shout out to you guys, and
don't have as much sympathy, the Dante will, but
yeah,
no, but I was saying we were talking before the show how a little bit ago, like Dante and I were talking ball, and I said, listen, I still think the Celtics are the team that comes out of the East. I still think they're the best team. And then right after that was when they went on that 4-game losing streak. Mm-hmm. And then all the turmoil started really bubbling up, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong. But that win against the Warriors was big. I still think they have great pieces on that team, and I think the last 15 games will be crucial for the Celtics. I think we'll show a lot of the Celtics that we see in the playoffs. Now maybe these last 2 wins, the Warriors Kings, like helps them kind of get back in that mindset. Because, I think if their head is all there, I still think they're the most dangerous team in the East, honestly, top down.
I mean, it's looking that way because the way they played against the Warriors the other night, and me taking into account as a Sixers fan, how the Sixers get up for the Warriors, and we'll talk more about that, obviously,
sure,
is that they beat them, they gave them their worst home loss in the past 13 years and the worst home loss of the Steve Kerr era. By 33, they beat them by.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, I think any given night something can happen, but how much? Like, I wouldn't bet much money on the Sixers beating the Warriors by. Honestly, I mean, so Celtics won by 33. If you told me the Sixers would beat the Warriors by 15, like in a game, I'd be like, I think you're crazy. I don't think I just can't see. I can't see it happening. I mean, I love how the Sixers play the Warriors tight, and they have the season, one earlier, and then the tough loss recently. But I can't even imagine a Sixers blowout of the Warriors.
I can't either. And with the Celtics doing it, it was amazing that everybody was on all cylinders after everything that has happened over the past 2 weeks since the All-Star break returned when they lost terribly to Toronto and Kyrie Irving didn't want to talk to anybody, pretty much only said 19 words to the regular media. And then afterwards, a regular reporter from The Ringer, Kevin O'Connor, said that Kyrie apparently has been disengaged and detached, and his friendships start and end with Jason Tatum, where he shares an agent, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if it's true, but I thought it was interesting because Tatum is like, if Kyrie leaves, he's the heir apparent to be the best player on the team. So I thought that was interesting.
He becomes the face of the franchise right away.
Considering Kyrie's ego, and then he's gonna be friends with the 20-year-old 20-year-old second-year player who lit it up last year and helped them get to the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyrie. Yeah, but I don't think there's. But as long as Kyrie is on the Celtics, I don't think there's that threat of Tatum overtaking Kyrie as the face of the franchise. At least right now, the way that the team is set up with so much like forward depth, like Tatum doesn't need to be the alpha on the team. You know what I mean? So I think that they can be close, and maybe it's kind of like that big brother, younger brother thing. They got the Duke connection, but yeah, I mean, I think that I can understand how they'd be friends. And I don't think that like Kyrie sees any kind of threat from Tatum. Also, Tatum like relatively keeps his mouth shut, doesn't really say anything to bother anybody, and he's still young in the league. So, but as far as younger dudes in the league who can really ball, like he's definitely one of the less outspoken of that group, I think, Tatum. So I think that is the kind of combination of both those.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And what was it, last night or 2 nights ago, after beating the Warriors on the second night of a back-to-back with no Kyrie, they then went up to Sacramento and won 111-109 on a Gordon Hayward buzzer beater.
Yeah. No, I mean, those last 2 wins were big Hayward games. I mean, the Warriors game, he led the way, and then this game, the game-winning shot, he almost blew it before that with the foul on the 3. Mm-hmm. But I mean, look, like Hayward, I think he's a guy you want to see succeed, even though we're far from Celtics fans. Like, I think he definitely is crucial to that team's success. Even though they were awesome last year without him. You bring a guy in like that, like there's an expectation that he's going to be, a huge contributor on the team. So, I think it'll be interesting to see how he's used throughout the season. I mean, they've been bringing him off the bench lately. I wonder if that'll continue. But I think.
Sorry. If I were Brad Stevens, and by the way it's going, now everything's working with Gordon coming off the bench, I would stick with that because it's just the simple armchair coaching me saying if it's not broke now, don't fix it. He's playing well. Everybody feels good. They just had to get right, and now it's translating to the court.
No, yeah, and I think that's a luxury of a really deep team like the Celtics is that you can experiment a lot with rotations, and to see what works out. So maybe they found what's going to work for them.
Yeah, maybe they did. And a team that's not working is LeBron and those Lakers. Right?
That's the next Celtics opponent. They play tomorrow night, Saturday night. Yeah, it should be an interesting game. I want to say it should be a good game, but I feel like you don't know what you're going to get anymore.
I don't know what type of Hollywood production LeBron's going to bring up there. Who knows?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, look, I'm a big Bron guy. I want to see him in the playoffs. We're not going to see him in the playoffs. But I don't know. What are you thinking? What do you think what's going on there?
I think that since they're 4-10 since LeBron came back and after the All-Star break, there's clear. And I kind of got not crucified, but just pushed back because I was like, you could see that LeBron's main focus right now, he's doing all this other stuff too. With being in LA, basketball is not number one. Like, he just filmed the Shop episode, which I watched the other day.
Yeah.
It had AB and AD in it, where
Right.
AD, he's trying to get on the Lakers, and that whole situation is well documented. And then Antonio Brown, who's in who's the number one story in the NFL, he has him in it. It's
right.
I can see what he's doing outside of basketball and the 2 Chainz stuff too. That's great. That's amazing. You have other interests outside of basketball, but it's like at this point in time, when you activated playoff mode, it's more like you activate also more producer mode too, because you're doing more entertainment stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see what you mean. I think everyone knew that his move to LA was definitely not a strictly basketball move, which I don't have any problem with. The dude did everything that, he doesn't need to. I don't know. I think LeBron is confident in himself. I mean, he's confident in himself, but he's sure of himself. He knows he's the greatest. So he's like, what more do I really need to do? I'm going to go set up myself for the long term, and that's in LA. So I don't know. He does the Shop during the season. He does the A&R for 2 Chainz during the season. And yes, I get that those can be those can be they're non-basketball things going on during the season. Mm-hmm. But I think that, listen, I mean, he was hurt, so he was away from the court for a little bit. But he's there on the practice. He's there practicing. If he's there with the team, I don't think that those have really detracted his play. I think if you want to think about it, if you want to say LeBron didn't give it his all this season or for part of the season, I think that's more of just coming in knowing that the Lakers really couldn't compete, so I'm trying to save my body, and now you're seeing that. But the minutes restriction they're about to put on him, he's not playing back to back. I don't think that those non-basketball things are a main kind of contribution to what is going on with the Lakers. I think it's a combination of a really bad team, and LeBron knows it, and it's not a team that LeBron can see, where with the Cavs it was, but there were a lot of different contributing factors. I also think that this Lakers team wasn't set up that well to begin with. I mean, it's unfortunate to see. I want to see LeBron in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, and it's good for the league that your best player is in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just think it's a bad team. I mean, definitely a trade deadline stuff really threw things off for sure. I think that really affected the players.
Yeah.
Even more documented. Kuzma went out and said I can focus on things now that the trade deadline's gone, and I'm here still. And it was documented. He was super affected by it.
Yeah, it's different when you just deal with that second year in the league, right? So I don't think that the entertainment stuff is a main factor. It's easier to point fingers to it with it, especially with in turn the way he's playing. If they were winning, I wouldn't really say anything, to be honest, because that's the way it works. But you see on the court that the vibe is different. You see, I don't know if you saw the SB Nation article where they chronicle LeBron being shoved by Kyle Kuzma, or videos where he's not playing that much defense at all. He takes certain possessions off very blatantly.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, so yes, I did see that the stuff about him taking plays off defensively. The thing that I think is important though is I think that kind of stuff only gets highlighted because the Lakers are doing so poorly. Because I guarantee you, if you look back at the last few years of LeBron's career, you're going to see that stuff happen in every game, because LeBron has always been my main focus is preserving my body for the playoffs.
Real quick.
I think as you go back, you're going to see that.
Real quick, though, he's definitely never been shoved to play defense. That's a first.
Okay.
Because LeBron, especially the way he's used social media and players do it, that would have been spearheaded somewhere in midst of the LeBron haters or just detractors, right? Because that's the best player, the heir apparent to Jordan. All the young people like us say he is the next, or we've been told he's the next Jordan, so you would see it. I'm just saying that there's that stuff, and of course LeBron's gonna get his. He only has single amount of games where he scored single digits. one of 3 players to do that. Or he has more 50-point games than single-digit games. Him, Jordan, Chamberlain. So obviously, I know he can produce. It's just the way he's producing and the guys around him. Because it is a team sport at the end of the day. So when everybody's not producing and you look frustrated, you could see it, and it's still not working out. Like there's been happened before. Like he's been frustrated, and then the team flips the switch. He spearheads that, but it's not happening. So that's why he gets a lot of blame too, because he's the man. He's LeBron. He knows that.
Correct. Yeah, no, he does, and a lot of that is, I think, not always entirely fair. It's the expectations of LeBron. It's the LeBron hate as well that factors into that stuff. But no, I mean, I definitely think that this season, and especially the injury definitely played into it. Like that injury is kind of like a wake up call. Maybe even was kind of like I'm not about to be out here like pushing myself crazy when this team has no shot. I need to be preserved for next season. That's definitely things that Bron thinks about, his camp thinks about. So, and now you're seeing it manifest in the Lakers, giving them time off, minutes restriction, no back-to-backs. I mean, listen, Magic's all aligned with that too. Magic knows how LeBron works and operates, and that team is LeBron's. So Magic is going to do anything he can to keep LeBron happy, to keep LeBron. I don't even want to say wanting to stay in LA, because he'll stay in LA, I think, no matter what. But Magic wants to win. You know what I mean? Like LeBron is there because LeBron's thinking about his future. Where Magic's I have a team to run. You know, so I think that keeping LeBron happy and keeping LeBron supported with dudes that work for LeBron is ultimately what's going to help that team win as well.
Yeah, Magic definitely wants to win. He's on the bad side of former players becoming executives, where you're never better as an executive as you were as a player. There's only one person that always comes to my mind in the NBA, at least, that has done that so far, and it's Jerry West. So, former Laker too. It's crazy.
Jerry was an all-time great player who has done well as an executive. I feel like I don't know if his executive career has been better than his playing career. I think a dude who has a chance of that would be Elton Brand, a guy who, if the Sixers run as sustained for a long time, then I think you could really make a case for Elton Brand as a top dude who had a better executive career than playing career.
Okay, let me not say Jerry West had a better playing career. I mean, better.
Just solid.
It's gonna be on par. He helped start the dynasty of the Warriors, and now I think he's gonna get the Clippers to actually the conference finals, which is an achievement for the Clippers because they've never been.
Okay, you mean during his run they'll get to the conference finals?
Yeah, he's got them set up beautifully for this summer.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So
he does. No, yeah. So he could be a dude who really does that, and I think Elton could be next up. Hopefully, Elton's next up. If he's not, then we might be back to a process soon.
No, never. Let's get to talking about a team with their front office has improved mightily. In the Milwaukee Bucks, they re-signed Alec Bledsoe, 4-year, $70 million. Yeah. Great move. And then added some veteran championship leadership in Pau Gasol. Beautiful moves. Yeah,
that's a team that's constructed very smartly, I think. It's a team that works well together. It's a team that you look at it, and I mean, obviously it's easy to say they got the best record, but it's you really can't find many holes. You know what I mean? Got guys who can shoot, got good bigs, athletic bigs. You got Giannis, who's at worst. I mean, I think you can say he's at worst a top 5 player in the NBA.
They're the evolution of the NBA at this point. The Bucks, because they have a lot of long guys who can shoot, and they have an incredibly athletic guy who can handle the ball, and you can't really guard him in Giannis.
No, and that's without him. That's without him becoming a dominant outside scoring threat. If that happens, I don't even like.
Well, that's the cherry on top. But as long as you have 4 shooters around him,
cherry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have the whole
No.
lane open. It's the C. He just runs down on you.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's like, no, the team is structured really well. You lock up a guy like Bledsoe, which is a smart move. Bledsoe's a good player. He's a dude who, he's never really been an all-star kind of player, but like always a dude who, solid contributor, a guy who I think on a lot of teams would make a lot of teams better. And you lock him up on a pretty affordable contract, allows them to still have a good chance of bringing back Middleton, which is going to be a huge priority for them. And it definitely seems like there's mutual interest there. I think that the guys on that team really buy into it a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I think that whole team buys into being a Milwaukee Buck, even though being a Milwaukee Buck is not like the sexiest thing in the NBA. I feel like every dude on that team like really wants to be there. And obviously, winning helps all, as they always say. Winning is the great neutralizer of hurt feelings and being upset.
Interesting.
But I feel like,
Sorry.
No, you got it.
Interesting you say that being a Milwaukee Buck is now good. And to NBA detractors who hate the super team model, which is the norm, now you have a team that drafted Giannis when nobody really wanted Giannis. You have making these great trades and deals when they had Jason Kidd last season. Then they had to get a different coach, and now it all has all come together. A team literally built as a team.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the anomaly of the NBA currently, but for all you detractors and if you can't see any teams that are like that, the Bucks are like that. So.
Yeah. But I will say the one thing though is you got to see how they perform in the playoffs. Like it's because this is now like they're gonna come into the playoff as a number one seed. Let's see what happens.
Conference finals are bust.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If they don't make it to the conference, and I'm not saying if they don't make it to the conference finals that they're gonna blow up the team and all that, but yeah.
They fall short of expectations.
When you're coming in to the NBA playoffs as the number one seed, you got to make the conference finals. That's you got to make it.
They're the best team in the league right now,
and they should. Oh yeah. I didn't even realize they were the last team to lose back-to-back games. I think it was recent when they lost, or I read somewhere that it was like they hadn't lost back-to-back. Oh yeah. So they lost to Utah and they lost to Phoenix, and then they were the last team to lose back-to-back games. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that had been going on. But this is crazy at this late in the season they hadn't dropped back-to-back. And it just shows you like they just play consistently well. Like they play the same game every single game. Now, listen, they had a bad loss to the Suns, who they actually have lost to twice this season now. Only one or two teams that lose to the Suns twice. But look, you come back the next day and you beat the Pacers by 20. You remind everybody who you are. Look, it's a good team. It's a team that, it's interesting because I think coming into the season, based on how the Sixers were against the Bucks last year, I was like, all right, well, there's no way that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to finish the season better than the Sixers. But now it's like, it's very possible the Sixers see the Bucks at some point in the playoffs because, obviously the Sixers fans would want our guys to be in the conference finals. I see the Bucks making the conference finals. It's definitely not something I feel good about, Yeah,
it's a tough road, and let's get to a consistency in Sixers lore as the first round pick for the past however many years since the process started. You can't play your first year in the NBA.
That is the one consistent thing about the Sixers for sure.
You just can't do it. So Zhaire Smith, a little update just in case anybody's wondering about him besides me. He's healthy. He's playing with the Delaware Bluecoats. Played in a couple games. The big thing is that his weight was down all the way to 164 due to peanut butter allergy and all that. Now I read he's at 206. Awesome. He's good and healthy.
Wow. Okay.
Playing well.
That's crazy. That's 164 is crazy unhealthy to be down that skinny when you're that big. But yeah, and then he's got two blue coats games in him now. I think he's gonna stay there the rest of the season. I don't think bringing him up really does much.
But a report I seen, apparently, I was reading up on this because I was hyped that Zhaire Smith is playing and healthy. Apparently, the Sixers have indicated to him that he could join the team after the Blue Coats season ends in like the end of March. So he could be April call-up, like akin to a September call-up in baseball. And who knows if he makes the playoff roster.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I don't know. I don't see him really able to make an impact on the team that he'll be needed. And I feel like at that point, it's like you don't mess up his development when he's not going to be able to really do much. Like, you do more harm to a kid bringing him up, and then he just gets toasted by solid NBA teams. Even though he's got good potential, like, he plays awesome defense. He's a versatile kid. Like, he's athletic. You let him develop in the G League. You just let him ball out there. You let him put up nice numbers in the G League. And you say, like, you know what, kid, like, next year you're going to be a solid contributor on this team. But right now, like, we're more focused on your development. I think that's the route the Sixers take. And I think it's mutually beneficial. I don't see him making a big difference. So let him ball out in the G League for a little bit. Hopefully, ball out in the G League for a little bit.
Okay. And another person that is finally healthy and is actually with the roster, it's called from the Blue Coats, was Justin Patton.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, we need center depth right now with Boban being out. And who else is out? We don't have backup centers. Jonah Bolden, Ben, and Mike Scott are small ball fives. So
Patton, Patton, you get your depth. I don't really know what much else you're going to get out of him. But yeah, this team, it's clear. Look, I know Embiid is a much different team. So a solid backup center has always been a need. Now Boban gives good minutes, but that you can't rely on him as a backup center. He's just not physically able to play like an entire game. And even if that was and I think it would be manageable then if when you have Boban who can give you hopefully 18, 19 good minutes, but then you need another backup center who can give you a solid 18, 19 minutes, and it's not. It's hard to rely on that many different backup players to give you good minutes. So at least Patton, he gives something different, brings it into the mix. I don't really think it's going to make a big difference. I don't think he solves anything really, but at the end of the day, it's just getting the team ready for the playoffs. Just bringing up guys, getting them equaling out the minute share, so that when it comes to playoff time, everyone's healthy and rested, and B's rested.
Mm-hmm. I get excited only hearing about the call-ups because it's young players who fit kind of what the Sixers need. The Sixers need a kind of athletic big. Justin Patton could be that next year. Zhaire Smith is a switchable defender who can score. But the reason Justin Patton's up is to cancel out Joel Embiid now tonight when we play the Rockets, missing their third straight game. No, his eighth straight game. And I want to talk about his health. He has knee tendonitis, and his MRI apparently showed nothing.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I mean, I'm not saying the knee soreness is made up or anything, but you're getting this guy ready for the playoffs because it's so clear how important Joel Embiid is to the team, and that's not an outlandish statement. Obviously, like, he's our best player, but this team is just it's tough. I mean, it's not a bad team without Embiid. We're still a solid team, but the only way to really sustain a deep run in the playoffs, an Eastern Conference Finals appearance that actually is competitive, is with a healthy Joel Embiid. That's it. I don't know if you feel differently, but
yeah, it's hard to feel differently when you have an MVP candidate that's been out for a week or so worth of games. But I want to talk more about the Sixers. Up until this point, we had a 2-game road trip. I say we, like I work or play for the team.
No, it's our team. It's one love, it's one city.
It's force of habit. I always like to make that joke though, because people take it so serious when they win. Like when they lose, like they get mad and want to fight the other fans. Like, yo, you didn't do anything. Like, relax and just Just go sulk about it. Go drink your sorrows away. That's all you got to do if you really want to.
Yeah, I feel you.
So they barely beat the Pelicans in New Orleans, where they lost a 10-point lead in about 3 minutes left, which is,
I mean,
the Sixers
it's
theme.
the story of the Sixers. It's the story of the Sixers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I saw on Twitter. I might not have the numbers exactly right, but it broke down the Sixers points per game by quarter and like how it ranks in the NBA, and it was like their first quarter points per game is like third in the league. Second quarter points per game is like eighth in the league, and then third quarter is like 18th in the league, and fourth quarter is like 15th in the league. You know what I mean? That's just it's bad. I mean, there's no that's what you're after halftime. The NBA, like the Sixers are a below average scoring team.
Yeah, there's no real answer for it, I don't think, besides them having to produce.
Yeah, they just got to play a consistent game. I mean,
you can't, I don't know. But then at least they bounced back the next night against, well, not the next night, a couple nights later in Oklahoma City, where they finally snapped a 19-game losing streak with no Paul George there, but they still won. So I'm cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, no Paul George, but we had no Embiid, so I don't. The good win against a good team. So I gotta look at it.
Yep, that's right. Tobias Harris, efficient as always, and now
super efficient.
The big one, failing to sweep the Warriors. Yeah, an exhale is very appropriate. Turned the ball over 21 times. Outscored 65-50 in the second half. Speaking to what you just spoke about.
Yeah, I mean that look, it is the Warriors, so.
But they had them.
No, I know. Well, I mean, listen, when you beat the best team, it's such a good feeling. Like it's such a confidence boost for your team, especially like you do it without your best guy. But yeah, I mean, it's another one of a long list of bad losses caused by falling apart at the end of the game. But when it happens against the best team in the league, it's like, I don't know. I mean, as the Sixers, you're still going to look at it as like, we messed up. That's on us. Like, we're better than that. We're better than these guys. But it is the Warriors. I don't know.
Yeah,
that one doesn't bother me as much as the last game we blew at the end of the game.
Okay.
If you feel me.
Yeah, definitely the loss against Chicago. I just want to talk about the Warriors just because there's a couple, because you can parallel both these games because there's bad play by the team and then there's questionable coaching decisions. You have, when I was at the game and Ben intentionally missed the free throw, I was like, all right, so they're trying to do this. I'm never the person, I don't like the fans that criticize as it's happening. Like, you don't know if it's going to work. Just be like, I don't like, not so emphatically like, oh, they lost, whatever. Be like, I don't like that. I wouldn't do that move. I don't agree with it. In whatever angry way you want to say. That's how I am. Like, all right, let's see. Like, we know what they're doing. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, then let's criticize all day. But until the outcome happens, that's how I am.
Saying, okay. So you're saying like while you're at the game, you're hearing fans be like, why would he miss it? Why would he miss it? But you're like, well, let's see what happens because if the Sixers ended up pulling up a three and hitting it, and they win the game, and it worked out. You mean okay?
Then
after that,
you would instantaneously have Alzheimer's and forget that he missed the free throw on purpose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I had a conversation with somebody, so But that's just that. I mean, it's how it goes. People are invested in that. They all have the same, like a lot of the same thought. It provokes the same thought, which is understandable. But
for sure,
I mean, and it was interesting that Kevin Durant was killing the Sixers, but he was getting off tough shots. He was just making Kevin Durant shots. He could rise up over anybody. So I'm not too mad about that one. The Bulls loss, we could talk about that one. Like that one was bad.
I mean, the Bulls loss is the actual epitome of all the things that haunt the Sixers, which is the combination of not being able to finish a job at the end of the games and letting a guard just completely wreak havoc on you all day long. And I don't know. Levine's a good player. He's got a lot of potential. But come on. I mean, listen, Kemba gives you 40. All right. Kemba's an all-star, one of the best guys in the league. Steph gives you 40. We're not going to talk about that. But when Levine is giving you 40, I don't know. I don't like that. I like that. I feel like you should be able to neutralize everyone on a team like the Bulls, where it really ain't that solid. But I don't know. It's bad. Now, listen, LaVine was playing great. You remember that one step back three he hit it, like towards the end of the game? Like he was a step back three towards the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? I mean, that was cold. That was cold. Like I was watching that like, wow, like that's an awesome play. Like I mean, you can't do anything about that. But come on,
Zach
like,
LaVine's coming up this year. I knew he could do that because he's a bucket actually. Like he's the best player on that team. And
yeah, he is.
But at a certain point, like let's just cut to the chase. They blew a 10-point lead in the last 16 minutes. Something big, giving up 39 is never good. But giving up Zach LaVine had 13 in the fourth quarter. So
yeah, I mean, I think.
Yeah,
I thought that I was going to come on the show and say that the biggest play of the game was towards the end of the game. You remember it was Robin Lopez grabbed an offensive rebound. He was dribbling around and Jimmy Butler steals it, drives with the court, gets fouled, hits 2 free throws.
Yep.
You remember that progression? I was like, all right, this game's over now. Literally that happened, and then I had to run outside my apartment for 2 minutes. I came back upstairs. It was like 45 seconds left, and the game was tied. I was like, wait. I thought that was like the big momentum shift of the game. Like Sixers got this, about to put the hammer down. It's over. And then I come back upstairs, and I'm like, in 2 minutes, the game got tied up again. Like I missed it. But I'm just like, come on, like finish out the game. And finish out the game against a bad team. You know what I mean? It's a bad. Like the Bulls are a bad team. You cannot listen. Every team drops games against bad teams. It happens. Like, you know what I mean? We talked about it earlier. Bucks have lost 2 games against the Suns this year, but. You can't drop a game at the end of it like that. You can't blow it. You know what I mean?
Because of the circumstance. You cannot, we're towards the end of the season.
Right.
In my mind, as a Sixers fan, I want to avoid the Celtics in the playoffs, at least the first round. I want to get out the first round.
Yeah.
So
yes.
The more you lose and the more they win, if we switch places now at certain points, then they have home court, which is not good. We can't really they can't beat the Celtics anyway. So then you have to take that.
I mean, listen, I don't care. Home court or no home court. I don't want to see the Sixers. I don't want to see the Celtics in the first round. I really don't. The Sixers need to grab that 3 seed. They have to grab a 3 seed.
And the Pacers are just keep on trucking without Oladipo. Bogdanovich has become a 20-point scorer every night.
It was not expected. I mean, listen, but that's another team that is put together well. And obviously, you lose your best player, you think everything's gonna go downhill. But when you're a solidly put together team, you find a way. That's what they're doing. Now, again, I mean, I'm totally okay seeing the Pacers, in the playoffs. I doubt that would happen. And I mean, because I guess if I don't know. I really want to assume that the Sixers finish as the 3 seed. Which means that you get a Pacers Celtics first round. I don't see any way the Pacers come out of that round.
Those are some high hopes, but we didn't even get to the most important part of that Bulls game yet. The yet another terrible looking inbounds play. No, actually bad inbounds defense.
I can't believe, because I even texted in our big group about how outrageous the last play of the game was. My fault. You're right. Gotta talk about that.
The regional manager, sadly, I don't stand for regional manager slander. I don't.
I know. Listen. I'm gonna call him Mike Scott. But yes, Mike Scott has been giving the Sixers solid minutes. He has been. He's been a great contributor. He's been. I think he's been an upgrade over Wilson Chandler. So you got to upgrade over a dude like Wilson, because they're a similar kind of player, I think. You can upgrade over Wilson Chandler. I know he's on your bench, but I don't know what he's doing on that inbound, because I think it seemed. Well, I don't know. I literally sit next to my roommate, and as LaVine gets the ball to inbound, I say he's going to give it to Lopez and get the ball back, because that's just what happens when your best scoring threat is the person inbounding the ball.
Most dangerous player is the inbounder.
They give it to. They bring out the big man. Then it's a quick handoff depending on what the score is, for usually a deep 3, or see if that clears up the lane. So I knew that play was going to happen. I'm not saying I'm a basketball guru, and from seeing me play ball, I'm not that nice at all. But I was pretty confident. That was going to be the play. So all right, LaVine inbounds it, and it seems like what happens is, like Scott's supposed to be on Lopez, Butler's supposed to be on Levine, and that makes sense because Butler is your best wing defender and
position wise
too.
too.
The ball. But like if you watch the replay, like Scott's eyes don't even come off of Lopez. Like I don't know. I almost think he thought that Lopez still had the ball, but like it's just bad. Leaves the lane wide open, and
fouls him
just
to make it worse.
I mean, you give him down one. I think that's just like your reaction as a defender. Like this dude is just completely blown by me. I mean, yeah, you gotta be. It's like you want to say that you gotta be disciplined and not dumb foul.
Let him.
He's probably already gonna make it, but I think that's just like a natural instinct. Like I cannot let this dude score.
Yeah, but
even though at that point it's too late.
If he failed to intend to stop the layup, he would have to wrap him up. At that point, obviously he wasn't thinking that quickly, because then you just let him blow by you and they tie the game. Then we go to overtime, most likely.
Yeah, I mean,
and all is forgotten. You got to play out the 5 minutes.
Yeah, you play the 5 minutes, and then you hope Levine doesn't give you 10 in those 5 minutes.
And it didn't help. It didn't help that the Sixers have struggled with inbound plays all year long. Get on offense, then the next one didn't even get a shot off. They messed up the clock. Ben tried to throw a really bad lob to Jimmy Butler where Levine was in front of him. That's like a quarterback throwing a pass where the cornerback is in front of the receiver, and he tried to throw it at him, not over him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but at that point, I see what you mean. At that point, it just feels like it's over, though. I mean, like, I get you, but I don't know if once the Sixers get the ball back down one with the second and a half left, I don't know.
It wasn't a good lob play. It wasn't the typical curl, and he gets around screens.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't. And then even when it came, when they brought him back onto the court,
didn't even get a shot off.
You didn't get a shot off. I mean, you had half a second, but at least wanted to look like it's a put together play that it's executed. You know what I mean? And if the shot goes off after the buzzer hits, the shot's a brick, whatever. Like, at least you got the play off. You know what I mean? So, yeah, tough to see. It's a bad loss. You know what I mean? Even if it's one thing, right? If the Sixers are this number one seed, you're the Milwaukee Bucks. You lose that game, you're like, come on, guys. But you shake it off a lot easier when you're the number one seed versus when you're the 4 seed. You got the Celtics breathing down your neck. You're like, why can't we get ahead of the Pacers? And then you drop this bad game to the Bulls, and then you're like, well, that's why.
Yeah, it's just really frustrating. Immediately, I never have the gut reaction anymore to be mad about the loss. Like, I got to see what happens first and then internalize it. But yeah, now we're talking about it, reliving it. I absolutely hate the loss. And I'm sure they all understand that it's a bad loss, and they use it towards the playoffs. But we'll see how they fare tonight against Houston.
Yeah, you mean, listen, the remaining schedule is not bad, right? Like, we got a lot of games we should win. And these last 15 games, I think we only got Rockets, Pacers, good teams, Milwaukee twice.
Wow.
Boston once. But I mean, other than that, the other 10 games of the season I think should be wins. Cleveland, Sacramento, Charlotte, I think there should be wins. Atlanta, Orlando, Brooklyn. Wins. You gotta win your games, and you gotta beat the good teams too. That's the thing. Like, that was the one thing with the Sixers run last year at the end of the season. You won that huge winning streak, but a lot of the games were against bad teams. And it always, it feels good to beat the bad teams and get on a nice little streak. But you gotta get the big wins. You gotta go into Houston and beat the Rockets. You're
right.
Is the season over if they don't? No. Now that game on Sunday against the Pacers, you gotta win that game.
That's a big one.
That's
the biggest game so far for the rest of the season.
That's gonna be that's their biggest game for the next 10 or so days until they go to Milwaukee. That's a huge game. You gotta get that.
All right. You want to get in the buy or sell?
Yeah. Let's get it.
All right. So, buy or sell Kyrie's comments during the losing streak affecting how quick he'll get signed this summer?
I'm gonna sell that. I think it's still Kyrie. I think he's still gonna be with the top, within the top 3 free agents available. I think that teams are gonna come running right away, throw the max at him. Now that might be something that comes up in an interview. I don't even know. I don't see it as really being a big holdup, honestly. Still Kyrie.
Okay, I'll sell that as well. I just had to pose the question.
Okay, yeah, I mean it's a fair question. I mean, because you're talking about when you said like he's walking to the game, he's like I don't need the game or something like that, right?
Just everything before they started winning again. So the comments like, let's see, when the team was toxic, he wasn't talking to anybody, wasn't a happy guy, that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I do think that stuff is all true. I mean, even like Charles Barkley came out and said something like, like Kyrie is a miserable person or something like that. I mean, people see it and they don't forget it. But NBA GMs, I think, are going to look past that for sure.
All right. Buy or sell Trae Young having the softest ejection you've ever seen?
I'm gonna so I'm gonna sell. Okay, so I'll buy that. I'll buy that because you got ejected after a terrible tech call, in my opinion. Because I can't remember the last time I saw a dude get a tech for. It wasn't even like a stare, like if you get like dunked on and they get up in your face and all that. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was whack. It was whack for sure.
I'm gonna buy it too. He stared him down from about 20 feet away. In what way was that taunting? Chris Dunn looked at him and went barely even that didn't even register. He went back to the bench because they called a timeout because Trae just pulled up from like 35.
No, yeah, I think that was because it had been a chippy game all game, and they had both got teed up earlier. But yeah, it's bad. Tell you what, I am buying though. I'm buying this Trae Young play of late. I don't think I'm not saying he'd do the 30-point night score, but he's been getting buckets lately, and I definitely think that that Hawks team, through the draft, as a solid piece, a Zion or RJ kind of guy, and I think Atlanta could also maybe become a nice free agent destination in the future. I think that's a team to watch out for in the next couple of years. John Collins is nice. Well, I think that's about that. I can buy the Hawks being nice in the future.
All true statements right there. Last buy or sell. Buy or sell, Jimmy Butler, most deserving of a contract similar to Eric Bledsoe's. Meaning, let me just preface this more.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, $70 million is what Eric Bledsoe got. And the max is Jimmy Butler wanting, what's that, like 180? Is that the crazy number?
If he gets the 5, actually it was, Bleacher Report I was reading Bleacher Report they did an article that was like what free agents are going to get the max. And they said like Jimmy Butler's not the guy who will get a max, but they'll get something close to it. And obviously the biggest concern there is his age and health. So I think it's a good question you pose because Bledsoe's 29, Butler's 30. Butler has had some injury stuff in the past. I'll buy it just because I think that annual value a year would be good, would be a great value for Butler. I will say this though, I would sell on him taking a contract like that. I think he wants more.
Okay, now let me just formulate a new question because Eric Bledsoe was it made it pop into my mind. So, buy or sell Jimmy Butler, most deserving of a contract worth $120 because the max is $190. I'm buying that.
Wait, are you saying 120 over how many years?
4, I guess. I don't care how many years, as long as the money's fine. Like, because then you could trade him later on, or just like eat the bullet when you have to. I think
Butler. I don't know. I'm not sure. Jimmy Butler. I think so. Now, are you saying you saying you bring him back on the Sixers at that, or you're saying like he's going to get to somewhere else?
I would bring him back on the Sixers at that.
I don't know. I can't buy that. I think watching the Sixers team lately after the Tobias Harris trade, I think it's a bigger priority to bring back Harris. And I think that I still think Jimmy Butler sees himself as that alpha, that dog. I think like right now he's on a team that's put together solid, and he's okay with that. But I still think he wants to be the alpha on a team or that number 2 dude. And right now, he's the number 4 option on the team when that whole team is healthy. And I don't think you pay a guy like that when that's the case. I don't really necessarily think that Jimmy Butler is needed on this team to succeed. Right now, he is just because of the way the team's set up. But I'd rather see that money that you would give to Jimmy Butler go to some solid role players. Bring back Harris. You got a solid rotation of that big 3 with some real depth, because that's something we know the Sixers team's been lacking all year. You put some real depth with those 3 guys, I think your Sixers team is as competitive as it is now, if not more, because that depth is huge. We see that time and again. We're talking about the Bucks. Great example of how depth is huge. So I'm not bringing Jimmy back on that.
All right. Well,
and the age and injury stuff is a concern for me too. So
right.
I'm not bringing him back on that. But 470, Eric Bledsoe contract, hell yeah, I'll take him.
Well, at that point, you're undercutting his value of himself and of him at one time, so you can't do that. So would you do 100?
Oh yeah. You know, honestly, I don't think Jimmy Butler. I wouldn't bring him back unless you are able to undercut his value, which is not going to happen. I don't really see Jimmy coming back to the team because I think that what he's going to command, it's not worth it for the Sixers when you still got to lock up Ben. And I really think that you should lock up Tobias because I think he's a dude who solves a lot of issues on this team. As a guy who can play defense, as a guy who can score. I think that so yeah, nah. Got to start bringing him back on 400 then too, maybe.
All right. Well, it was a good show, John. Appreciate you coming on.
No, yeah.
You got anything to say to the people?
Thanks for having me. Keep listening. Keep showing these guys love. They put a lot of hard work into the show, and I'm lucky to be on it now. But keep showing love. Thanks for having me out here, Joe. Thanks for choosing me as a replacement for you. It's hard to match Dante's expertise. But I had a lot of fun today.
All right, cool. Now let's just get into some plugs. You want to follow the Outlet Pass Podcast on Instagram, the Outlet Pass Podcast, Twitter @pass_podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. It's all the Outlet Pass Podcast. Just search it. Do us a favor. Can't believe I just hit the mic in case you hear a pinging noise. Whatever. But this was the Outlet Pass Podcast. The ball being our opinions, and we're passing it out to you. Peace.